Now, Dipperstein is currently getting schmutz off of Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman is sitting down and joining us on the Cheap Heat podcast, and I want to say something right now that he just said off the air, because I think it's very interesting for our listeners here on the air. He took a look at Dave Shoemaker after they introduced themselves to each other and said, "You bring the heavyweights with you." What are you referring to about my partner, the masked man, Paul Heyman?
I think he needs to lose weight.
He is a large gentleman.
I know. This is the one episode we're being filmed, too. I feel I'm going to be really self-conscious for the rest of the way.
Have you read this guy's stuff before?
Yes, especially the one that he wrote about me.
And you like it was a nice
It
piece.
was a very nice piece. And, when you get that phone call in the morning saying, "Hey, man, they wrote about you on Grantland," it's like, oh
This
no.
could go so many ways.
This could go a lot of different ways.
Oh, man.
This is your first time meeting this gentleman?
We met once at a party a long time ago that you wouldn't remember.
Into your microphone, both of you guys. I
sorry.
need everyone very direct on these microphones.
I know. It's
What
this is
party
very
did we
awkward.
meet?
Yeah,
it was just it was like a SummerSlam,
Okay.
thing,
One of those
Oh,
deals.
okay.
Oh, no, not like Studio 54.
You never know.
Okay, here's what we're going into right
Hey,
away.
man, we bumped into each other in the grotto. It's like, oh, no.
I saw you weren't wearing very much. Okay, I want to start with this right away. For some reason, I've interviewed you a million times. You never say anything about your Hot 97 history. Then 5 people come up to me later and they're like, "Oh, Paul Heyman was almost on Hot 97. There's this and there's that." Give us a little bit about the Paul Heyman Hot 97 story.
Well, I was out of WCW. This was beginning of 1993. And I had just signed with the William Morris Agency in New York. And I was through with my professional wrestling career. Done. Didn't want to go back in. I've had enough. I'm finished. They'll never see me again. Those bastards will never be able to exploit
if you
my
treat Paulie
talent
dangerously
again.
this way, you will never see the likes of me again.
So, you won't have Richard Nixon to kick around anymore.
Yeah.
So, one of the gigs that was on the table was this is back in the day of Fast Freddie Colon and Ricky Ricardo.
In other words, for people who don't know, this is Hot 97 around that time, right after this, switched to the all hip-hop format, right around 93, 94. But up until then, it was like a dance club music format.
Yeah. So, so one of the theories was, why don't we put Paulie Dangerously up against Howard Stern in the mornings? And as the negotiations got more serious, we got more serious about it, and I decided, okay, you know what? This is something I really want to do. And the deal was on the table. The contracts were actually drawn up for me to go head-to-head with Howard Stern in the mornings in New York. And then the opportunity to take over the creative of ECW came about, and that's the avenue that I chose.
Yeah, but you just swore off wrestling. What do you mean? You're never going back ever again?
I was a complete hypocrite by doing so.
What lifestyle do you think is worse, the morning radio host or or professional wrestling?
Plus, come on. How could a New York Jew boy do mornings on Hot 97?
It's ridiculous to even think about.
It's an insane concept.
I know. It's very weird. I got to tell you, how do you think you would have done in that gig? I got to tell you, thinking about you applying your talents to that. I mean, Howard Stern's the greatest. It's hard to see anyone ever knock him off his throne, but you are a lunatic. You could have been very good.
Whooped Howard Stern's
You
ass.
really think you could have?
Yes.
I mean, that is a bold
but
claim.
here's the thing.
You got to go in with that attitude.
What am I supposed to say to that question? Am I supposed to answer, no, I would have been Howard Stern's jabroni? No way. I look back on it, and I leave you with that little what if.
If you didn't answer it that way, you wouldn't have been Paul Heyman. I would have been sick into my stomach if you'd said that.
I would have whooped Howard Stern's ass. I'd have knocked him off his throne. Robin would have left Howard and become my co-host, knowing.
Of course, it turns into a wrestling storyline very quickly.
Well, I mean, you're sitting here wearing a WCW shirt. Now, when everybody was defecting from WWE and jumping to WCW because they figured that's where the future, and of course, the ending of my story on Hot 97 would have been far better than the ending of WCW's story on Turner.
I would hope so.
When people were defecting from WWE to WCW, it's because they saw that's where the future was, at least in their opinion. And Robin would have looked at Howard and went, "You're getting your ass whipped, and I'm going with that Jew boy right there."
So it makes sense.
That's great.
It makes sense.
When you talk about quitting WCW, you've been with every company I guess there is. I mean, all the big names. And now you're sort of an elder statesman of the business. I mean, everybody. I'm sure people come to you for advice all the time. We hear that from wrestlers.
I don't consider myself I'm more like the OG.
Right.
There you go. You are an OG.
As the OG of this WWE family, what did Paul Heyman do in his youth that present-day Paul Heyman would have told him never to do in a million years?
Nothing, because it got me to this day. So even the mistakes that I made propelled me to what I understand and what I know and where I am at this very moment, which is sitting here at 6 a.m. doing podcasts with you guys.
It's not any podcast. We are roughly in the top 25 of all sports and recreation podcasts in the world.
I didn't say it's an unsuccessful
podcast. It is a somewhat successful
but
podcast.
It's still a 6 a.m. podcast.
So
Fair enough.
Early in the morning.
Fair enough, Paul.
What kind of guys when you talk to the young guys, the wrestlers? Is it anybody who seeks you out, gets your wisdom, or do you have favorite guys that you like to talk to?
Both. I have favorite guys that I like to talk to, and then there are others that approach me to rabbi them to further their career.
Huh. Well, you seem to kind of get hooked up with the best guys in the business. Is that because you have a good eye, or because they're smart enough to come after you?
Both. If I see someone that's coming up and maybe taking a left turn when they should be taking a right turn, or a right turn when they should be taking a left turn, I'll walk up to them and say, "Hey,
you're turning the wrong way."
Yeah, here it is. Better call Paul.
Have you already used that line?
Oh, of course I have.
Okay, you're all over.
I think there's T-shirts.
I've been waiting all day to say it. It's what? It's a flag. It's a copyright.
Yeah, I can't have it. It's too bad though, because it would be pretty.
Oh man, what I'm
it would
saying?
be fantastic. The
What
crowd,
a gimmick.
literally everyone going, "What are you going to do? You better call Paul." I mean, it would happen.
Yeah, but if this were like the '80s, they would just print up 1 million T-shirts. You'd be screaming it into the microphone.
Yeah, and it wouldn't matter.
Yeah,
no one know. What's the ceiling for Seth Rollins, who appears to be
no ceiling, unlimited potential, hasn't even scratched the surface of how good he's going to be, and that's exactly where a top talent is supposed to be. Where we're sitting here now saying, "Wow, this guy is on the cusp. This guy is on the periphery. He's about to really break through." And yet, if you come back a year from now, and I'm sure you will, for these 6 a.m. podcasts,
I love this.
And you come back a year from now, you'll look back on now and say, "Wow, remember when he was so young and we thought he was reaching his plateau now, and 2 years from now, he'll make next year pale by comparison."
Is he as talented a guy as there is in the locker room?
Absolutely. He is. He is a phenomenal talent.
That's very cool. I think that's the perception that most of us have, is that he seemed the thing that I always say that jumps out to me so strongly about him is that he is one of the only guys that I can think of right now who gets true boos, right? Not just playing along boos, real boos.
He knows how to piss people off.
He really does.
Yeah, he studies it. He thinks about it. He obsesses with it.
And it's really well done.
Yeah.
He's great. He's not one of the many. He's a breakout performer. He is an attraction. He will be one of the absolute top tier stars for many years to come.
I'm going to cut that clip and make it about me. Paul, you are now on the more, people hate you, but you're also beloved. You're also the guy that people bow to when you walk in. You are an icon in the business. It's true. Does that bug you at all in terms of you're such a great heel that I'm sure you just always want, the goal must always be nasty, real feeling heat?
No, because the goal is to persuade people to subscribe to the network or buy a ticket or buy a pay-per-view. The goal is to draw money. And if people want to respect my accomplishments and listen to what I have to say, then I can sell them on something. And again, I'm just the advocate. I'm not the guy in the ring. So I can always convey a message, whether it's from the positive or the negative, whether it's as a heel, or whether I'm sitting there saying, "Okay, listen, by the way, just so you understand, you're paying Sunday to see a fight. You're going to see a fight. Okay? Of course, I'm biased. My guy's going to win. I'm his advocate. But you're going to see a fight. And that's what you're paying to see. And I promise you, with my credibility on the line, that's exactly what you're going to see. And people say, okay, listen, he promised us. So there are benefits of not being just the guy that they go, boo, boo, no, you suck. Your mother sucks too, you know. So,
You've had that too, I'm sure. Yeah, plenty of it.
So you ride the wave. Okay, where am I able, and from what perspective am I able to draw money, to entice the public to spend money on this product? And if right now, like I said, if I'm the OG and people are going to respect who I am and they're going to bow down, then I can just sit there and say, hey, thanks for listening. This Sunday, great match. My guy, going to give you something memorable. Buy it.
Come on, of course they're gonna buy it. Right.
And if they want, and if they want me to play back to them because I'm walking out, they're going, "Boo!" Okay, all right, bitches.
You'll turn around and give them that one too.
Here we go. We can play that one too. You know, it's a funny expression, and it dates back to Lou Thez.
Here we go. This is what you're here for. This is what I want to hear about.
But you
One
know,
of Lou Thez quote.
The old thing about Lou Thez was, you know, when he got it up in Buddy Rogers' face, and you know, and when he took the title from Buddy, he goes, "We can do this the easy way. We can do this the hard way." But there's an old story about Lou Thez and Brute Bernard, and Lou Thez didn't like gimmicky wrestlers, and Brute Bernard was a gimmicky wrestler, and Lou Thez kept telling him, "I'll see you out in the ring," and Brute Bernard had no idea what was going to go on. And when they got in the ring, Lou Thez walked up to him, the NWA champion, and grabbed Brute Bernard by the wrist, and he says, "Work or shoot, the finish is the same." So,
Oh, that's such a mage line.
That's great.
It's the
Work or shoot, the finish is the same. Ah, that's
So
fantastic.
it's the same thing with Brock Lesnar. Work or shoot, the finish is the same. So it's the same thing when I do my promos. I can come out and just talk to you. Hi, I'm here tonight to tell you my guy's in a match, and it's worth it. Or I can sit there and spit fire at the audience all day long. Either way, work or shoot, the finish is the same.
All right, start a new clip right there. Sorry, I'm talking to Dip, who's handling our camera, my major agent Dipperstein, who's a jack of all trades, a full-service agent of epic proportion. By the way, this guy, we got to say this. The fun we're having, all of us, you know, I got to tell you, Paul, you're used to this now. It has become your life. You know, I pretend like I'm used to it. Shoemaker does a good job as well. But last night, just milling around our hotel lobby having a beverage, the level of who's who that just walks in at all times. I mean, this has just become your life, but to me, as just a hardcore fan, it is incredibly special. It makes the weekend have this, like, not just the fact that you see the talent now. It's amazing. It's great. I love seeing the talent now. But when you're sitting in a room, when you're in a bar, and you actually see Ric Flair walking with a woman on both arms, it's fantastic. There's
Nothing like it.
There's nothing better than this. They're giving us a rap for Paul Heyman. Give us something else for Paul Heyman, Dave Shoemaker.
All right. Well, when you first
Hold on, who's rapping you?
People are rapping right and
Who's
left.
rapping?
Joe Villa, the
That guy
heel,
over there?
the
He
heel
has
of
no
the
clout.
cinch.
He has no clout.
He cannot stop
We're
you.
going long.
So-
See, that's it. Go ahead.
The finish is
when
the
you
same.
first
We'll
started-
rap
Hurry up,
anyway.
I gotta go.
No, don't do it. Don't do it. We'll rap.
When
Here we
you
go.
first started, when you first started with, I guess down with the Crockett's, you were the first time you were, or even before that, first time you were backstage, you were out at a bar with the boys. What was the first time you saw a wrestler where your heart kind of stopped?
I thought he was going to say, when's the first time you saw a wrestler naked?
That's what he wanted to
yeah,
ask.
yeah. Tune in for Cheap Heat After Hours. It's our new night. Yeah.
When's the first time I went, wow?
Yeah.
Like, oh my gosh.
Man
that's-
Senior.
Wow.
Because
Okay.
he ran, see? Same
Yeah.
reaction. Because he ran the show. The Pope of Madison Square Garden. That was it.
And you were a kid running around with the camera?
Yeah, and I was like, that's the dude I want to be. He's running the show.
I can't believe you met Vince McMahon Sr.
Who else? I worked for him.
I know. The fact that you worked for him as a kid,
I was 14 years old, but I worked for him.
it doesn't matter. It's so ridiculous.
Of course it is.
You've had a hell of a run, Paul Heyman.
And I'm not done yet.
I know you're
As
not.
a matter of fact, I'm just getting started.
Yeah.
All right, Paul
He's gonna
Heyman.
take your job at Hot 97.
He's
soon.
coming back to Hot 97,
Yeah.
full circle. Hey, Paul, great seeing you, man. Always a pleasure.
Shalom.
Shalom to you.